weekend so I can set up. I didn't schedule ahead of time, so it should notify people that I'm live. I am going to work on some cotton cuts tonight. I do have a whole bunch of stuff to cut out for like class kits. Not class kits, for kits for our vendor booth. But I just feel like it's so hard to do it on the table. Like I literally like to like spread it all out on my floor. All right, here we go. And just cut multiple at once. So this month 8 came out at the end of February. So I'll be working on that. Hey Beth, how are you? Beth, are you applying to teach at So Whatever Weekend next year? Hey Arnetta. It's so cold here in New York too, and the wind was crazy last night. But March is definitely like, I know growing up in New England, they would say like comes in like a lion, out like a lamb, and it can't make up its mind this time. Alright, so I'm just going to lay out all the fabrics. This glue came out at the end of February, and as you can see, I have not sewn it up yet. So I am going to do 3 of the 4 blocks tonight. Jason and I finished this weekend cutting, it was like, I think it was 145 yards of fabric. And we also had vinyl and whatnot to count. So today I have put all the new vinyl, all the new Majestic nylon, and water resistant canvas on the website. Yes, I saw that New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, we did not have one here in New York, but the wind was blowing, it kind of surprised me that we didn't. It was really bad. Oh, Beth, yeah, I'm gonna apply. I'm thinking of putting the Eileen pool tote and doing like a modified version of it. I don't know if she'll need teachers or not, but I figured I might as well just put it out there in case. Hey Nicole, how are you? All right, I'm hoping that this moves kind of quick tonight. Today's been so busy. Not busy like, I'm so like tired mentally because I also finally, I haven't done my taxes yet. I had to finish all the business stuff, so I was doing the rest of the like the spreadsheets for that today. So I feel good. I feel like everything's finally done. Jason and I have been rolling webbing behind the scenes and just really trying to get everything ready for AQS in Hartford. Like I can't believe it's already pretty much like 2 weeks away. 3 weeks maybe at the most. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Beth, because it's not very thick, so that way I feel like the domestic machines can handle it. Because one of the things, I guess I take it for granted sewing on an older machine that, you know, in a lot of the bag making groups, I see about like the Juki TLs and what they can sew through. And they definitely give people a lot more trouble than I thought they would. I also think sewing on a machine that's not familiar to you is difficult too. So tell me what you think. I'm going to make some kits for my vendor booth in Hartford in April. Probably for like the winter crescent bag and the willow wristlet, because I feel like those are small and the two easiest. But I'm thinking of printing off just copies of the pattern so people could buy like the physical paper version, and just putting like a code where they could download it later, because this is going to be mostly quilters there. So I'm hoping that maybe like the patterns will like catch their attention. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, since she always does it in April. Because originally for the retreat, the Hershey this coming September, I was thinking about the pool tote, but I'm like, in September, not really. I don't think it's the best choice. Making all of these like the economy blocks, or the one that has the square in the center, and the same fabric all the way around. So that's why I am, oh, actually I only want to do 3. I'm glad I caught that. So that's why I'm sewing it all at once right now. Yeah, so we put all the new stuff up on the website. I know people were asking last week, but tomorrow we're also expecting 1,000 yards of new zipper tapes. We're restocking the ones that we call over the rainbow, that have like rainbow thread and rainbow teeth. But other than, and black with green teeth. But other than those, all the other zipper tapes are going to be new to us, ones that we haven't had before. So I'm pretty excited. Like, I have little like samples here, so I can see the teeth color and like the fabric, the zipper tape color, like the sides. But I'm excited to see them all done and how they look. Hey Charlene, how are you? Charlene, it's funny, I was just saying, because I know you were asking last week, we put all the new prints up on the website today. So there's new vinyls, new Majestic nylon, and new water resistant canvas. Also, happy St. Patrick's Day to anybody that celebrates. We had our corned beef and cabbage tonight. It was excellent. I love that meal. I could eat it all the time. So super excited about it today. Yeah, Taco Tuesday. That's all, you know, that's appropriate too. That's so funny. Hey Sean, how are you? I'm catching up on my Under the Sea. I hadn't done month 8 yet. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing that on my live tonight. Yeah, so this puzzle mystery quilt finishes the end of April is the big reveal. So that's another reason that I'm getting this done. I still have to film the tutorial. I've just been focusing so much the last couple weeks on the upcoming quilt show, because I'm really nervous about it, because we've vended other places, but I feel like they've been a lot more casual, where AQS is such a big, well-known quilt show that I'm nervous about it. So we're trying to make sure everything looks very professional for our booth. All right, Sean, that makes me feel much better. Yeah, things have been super busy between the sewing and then my regular job. So yeah, Nicole, I'm so excited. A lot of the times the quilt shows are like down in the South, or Midwest, but there's not really many in the Northeast. And so AQS, they're the people that host like the big quilt week in Paducah, Kentucky. They added Hartford, Connecticut to their show schedule this year. And so there's also like the New England Quilt Show, which is much, much smaller, held up in New Hampshire. But this is like the first really large quilt show that I know of. They're having it at the convention center in Hartford. So I hope it's a good turnout. I believe we're one of the only like bag making shops there. There's definitely going to be quilt shops that have bag making supplies, but none that I know of that are more of like the custom zipper pull type shops at all. So I'm hoping it will open us up to a bunch of new people, and maybe I'm doing a presentation all about zipper tape. So maybe it will inspire some quilters to join our bag making world. Yeah, I was looking at that one, Sean, because I heard the Road to California, like that's the huge one out in California every year. But I think the dates that it occurs, I'm still in school. Because here in New York, we have so many holidays that we start after Labor Day, so we go right up to the end of June. Are you gonna go to that show, Sean? Yeah, I just got an email today that so AQS, I know they do their big one in Paducah, and then they do Florida and Michigan. This year, the Hartford and Ohio shows are new, and I just got an email today that they are adding a Texas show next year. So if this one goes well, I definitely plan to do it again. Oh, that's not bad then at all. That's easy enough to go to. I saw some of the photos from, oh my gosh, like what is the quilt? The one that was just in North Carolina from the Modern Quilt Guild. Quilt Expo? Is that what it is? My brain's not working right now. Oh, that QuiltCon, there you go. I was loving everybody's pictures from there. And I know Sonar, who is more in the bag making world, was a vendor there, so I hope she did well. That was cool to see her pictures too. I know. This year it actually fell during my spring break, or like my February vacation, but it would have been such a trip down, and it worked out anyways. We spent February break. We did like went to a concert in Atlantic City, and then I also ended up getting sick, so I rested for part of it too. I love how these blocks look with the fabric kind of showcased in the middle. They're not my favorite to sew though, because I feel like they kind of take a while, but because I'm doing 3 of the 4 blocks at the same time, it kind of makes it go a little bit quicker. Yeah, North Carolina is, so when I went to college in Florida, and have an uncle who retired from the Air Force in North Carolina. So North Carolina was like the midway point. I would always stop and see him. It's about 10 hours, I think, from here, depending which part you're going through. Oh, wow, that's really not too bad. I've definitely done long trips like that, round trip. It's so cute. I love the little vampire kitties in this one with the and then the ghosts in the orange. This colorway just makes me so happy. I was so excited. I know I say it every time, but I was so excited to be the um, ambassador for this one. All right. And now I need 3 flying geese. Yeah, so you can see the front of my clue. This is what I'm working on. There's 4 blocks for this one. So I am basically just making 3 of them. I always save 1 block so I can make it like a full-length tutorial for my channel. Yeah, I'm hoping to, once the prep for the April show is done, like after April, have more time to kind of just sew for enjoyment. I feel like I've mostly just been doing, I mean, I'm enjoying doing this, but I feel like I've mostly just been doing the quilting, and then the bag I did last week was even just like for a sample with the Majestic nylon fabric. So I'm looking forward to just kind of cutting out some new bags and being able to sew and hopefully finishing up the bag pattern that I have halfway written. The sad thing is I started writing it, I think I started writing it in September. So that's my goal, to hopefully get that released. I feel like I've been you know, I really give people credit who come out with a lot of bag patterns every year. They're a lot of work. So much time goes in behind the scenes, like taking the photos and editing. So that's like the overwhelming part for me, and I have to do it all at once. Like take the photos and add them to the document and write the steps. Like I can't just do all the photos once, because I will inevitably like forget to take a picture a certain way or whatnot. So when I do them, I do it like all in one go. I still have, I think I have 2 cuddle books from Cotton Cuts left to sew as well. One of my goals for this year, it probably won't happen till the summer when I have more time, because it's just so hard during like the work year being a teacher, but I really want to go live more on YouTube. I'm really grateful for the Tuesdays. I feel like you know, you all help me stay on track and hold me accountable. But I definitely want to either film more and get the tutorials posted, or go live more. Charlie, that's so funny. Yeah, it's so hard because like I personally like real pictures in it. My brain struggles with diagrams sometimes, but everybody has particular like preferences. So some people want full pattern pieces, some want just measurements. I like to include the metric and the imperial measurements. Yeah, there's so many like little things that you don't really, or I never really thought about until I started trying to actually put them on paper. I'm using Gutermann thread. I always use this when I'm piecing, Mostly because I use the Tex 35 that's over here to my right for bag making. So pretty much I just run out of a color and that's what happens. So I'm switching my thread now. See if I can find the end here. I hate like putting it back on with just a little bit left. So I've just been running out the colors basically. And I had yellow because my other puzzle mystery quilt has yellows, greens, and blues in it. But this is for piecing, so it honestly, in my opinion, like you don't really see it. Oh, I didn't think about that. I had my presser foot down, so those stitches were gonna come out funny. And I probably, like, you know, like do as I say, not as I do. I'm totally just gonna backstitch this over where my thread ran out. I wouldn't do that in a bag or somewhere if it's gonna hold like the seam has a lot of weight on it or anything, but for this I'm not too worried about it. I didn't hold it though, so I definitely just bird nested this. And where that ran out, I'm just gonna run another line of stitching. I do not feel like picking it out all the way. Hey Helen! Yeah, thanks everybody joining in. I'm working on my Cotton Cuts month 8 for Under the Sea Puzzle Mystery Quilt. I have not, it came out the last Friday in February. So a new one will be coming out next weekend already. So I'm trying to catch up on it. And I can't wait to see. Every time there's a new reveal, I get so excited because the colorways, like I genuinely usually like most of the colorways. And it's so funny because depending on, you know, if there's a lot of contrast or not, they can all look so different. One of my other plans is I want to make some quilted bags. I haven't done that in a while, but I want to make a new one so that I can bring it to the vendor show and show it off as well. All right, so now I'm attaching these to the top. Yes, yeah. That's already, is it next week? 10 days? Yeah, next week already. I feel like March is just flying. I cannot believe it's already almost done. I feel like this whole year's been flying. Block is these blocks are coming together fairly quickly. That's another thing that I enjoy about Cotton Cuts, or if I don't have a lot of time to sew but I really want to just be at the machine, like everything's ready and they come together so quick that, you know, find that joy, like the fulfillment of it. But it doesn't take a whole bunch of time. It seriously, Sean, you know, like I feel like my parents used to say that, and you know, as a kid, it just seemed like forever, and now I'm just like, oh my gosh. And right now, I am out of the classroom. So next year, I am either going back into the classroom, or I finished my administration certificates. In New York, they have two different ones, like one for assistant principal and principal, and one for like superintendent. So I finished both of them. So I've been looking for like administrator jobs. Oh, I gotta press this the other way. So I feel like that's part of what's been, you know, between the sewing show and then job hunting and then just like doing my regular job. Just every day it just flies by. Ah, Dad. See, Dad's on. It's funny. My dad always hops on, but you know, it's actually only 8:30. I don't know why I thought it was a little bit later than what it was. See, Dad, I do listen to you. I told my dad the other day, we were when we were rolling webbing, and oh my gosh, when we got the shipment in of the vinyl and the fabrics, there were 8 huge boxes. And we live in New York City, and they left them like basically on the sidewalk. So we were panicking like when we got home, but we had to carry them, and we were unloading them, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fit all this in my car. So I don't know if Dad and Mom will be able to make it to the show, but we'll see. I told Dad, I might be borrowing your truck. If you want to move to Virginia. Yeah, they probably have like reciprocation between the states. I know New York's licenses go a lot of places. You just have to kind of file the paperwork for it. But the thing with the superintendent though is I feel like the odds of me getting it's in New York, it wouldn't be possible without having like an assistant principal, or we call them assistant principals here. Some places call them vice principals. We call them assistant principals because a lot of times you will have more than one at a school because our schools are so big. And I know that some of you have been watching a while. I've been helping recruit. Like how I got into teaching is I was a New York City teaching fellow. So it's basically for people who are like career changers, and or if you didn't have your undergrad in like a teaching degree. And so I've been helping recruit new teachers. So the past couple Tuesdays, I know I missed a couple. That's what I've been doing. It was really neat. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think it was now. One of our events was in person at the Intrepid Museum. And if you ever come to New York, it's such a cool museum. It's on an old aircraft carrier at the on the Hudson River, and they have all sorts of aircraft on it. One of the space shuttles. It's so cool. That's one of the things that I love about being here in New York. It's just the access to all the different things: restaurants, museums, Broadway. Definitely don't take advantage of it as much as I'd like to. I think part of it is the commute. It just, I guess you could take like the subway and stuff, but sometimes it just takes so long to get from one place to another. I'm making a whole bunch of these. I thought I only needed 4, but I needed 8 of these half square triangles. Do any of you do, they call them like the shop hops? It's like the quilting shop hops, and they have them in different states. The New York one takes place, I know it's in May for sure. I think it's April and May. And they have different regions, so you can go all around the state or the region. And so we did the southern region last year. So I'm really excited. I want to participate in that again. There's a really cool way to find, about new quilt shops that you might not have heard of or support local businesses. It was funny, last year we went to one quilt shop. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head because it was like the furthest one out in the southern region, but it was in a town that was near Woodstock, New York. And on the day we went, they were having like an alien festival, and like the street was shut down and everyone was dressed up as aliens, and they had all these vendors. It was so funny. But it was really cool because not only did I like learn about a whole bunch of new quilt shops and get to support them, but got to see new areas that I had, new towns and stuff that I hadn't been to yet. So much faster sewing these all together. And you save a whole bunch of thread, which is always really nice. All right. Just double checking. I'm always paranoid that I'm sewing the wrong fabric. This one I haven't really messed up too much on. The fabrics are very different, but the last one, when I was sewing the batiks, I don't know why, I always wanted to flip around the yellow and the orange. I think I probably should have sewed only 6 of these because I'm going to need 2 for each block. So, and I definitely sewed 7. So I'm going to put 1 to the side. So that way when I film, I'll have it. I know I talk about it all the time too, but I love just having the mini iron right here. It just makes everything so much faster. And then the wool pressing mat. I didn't really think, like, I never had one. But I had got it, I had asked for it for Christmas, and it really does make a huge difference. And I use this wool pressing mat not just for sewing, but if you do any type of like Cricut with vinyl, or if you buy like the heat transfer, like the prints or whatever, it's so convenient to have. It makes it sit a whole bunch nicer. I haven't really done anything with the Cricut in a while. I used to make a whole bunch of shirts and stuff, but with the sewing getting busier, I haven't really done that in a long time. I'm going to sew this the opposite way. The corner, it wanted to like eat the fabric. It just pushed it down into the feed dogs. Doesn't happen a whole ton on this machine, but every so often it wants to eat it. I have kind of a bigger needle in though. I didn't think about it. I probably should have changed it. can't wait to see it. I mean, it's still next month, but um, whenever one of the puzzle mystery quilts finishes and we have the big reveal, Cotton Cuts will always tell you the theme of the next puzzle mystery quilt, and then the new colorways will start showing. Um, and I always get so excited because I feel like it sounds so like cliche, but I always feel like, oh, these were my favorite colorways, and then I see new prints and I'm just like, oh, these are my new favorite. And it's funny, and that also explains why I have like a whole closet full of fabric I need to work through. I'm glad I'm sewing these all together because these all have parts like I had to iron one side open before, press one side open before being able to do the next. And I feel like if I was doing one at a time, they would take so long. Although this puzzle mystery quilt, I feel like has a nice variety of the different types of blocks. The one before Flyway had a lot of these style here, and I was really tired of making them by the end of it. Never, Arnetta. I've never taken it to a place to have it like professionally maintenance. I every couple of months will unscrew it, take it apart. All the gears and everything inside are metal. So I just mostly oil it myself, clean out down near the bobbin. One of the quilt shops that I went to, I was asking them about that. And her philosophy was like, if the machine's not giving you problems, don't do anything to it. So I don't know. There's like a little rubber wheel that sits against the turn wheel over here. And when you wind a bobbin on it, that's what catches it to wind the bobbin, and it's not catching. The part I was trying to order it from, was it sewing machine parts online, or there's a website that has a lot of the older machine parts, but it was like a not backstock, where they had to wait to get it in. I can't think of the word that I want right now. So I might order it and try to do it myself, but if I can't, then I might have to take it somewhere and see if they can do it for me. That's also another reason that I like older machines, because I very much enjoy building and tinkering with things, and I know with like the new computerized, there's no way that I could do something like that. But with this machine, because it's all metal gears and because it's older, there's so much information on like YouTube and just other websites that I found that show you how to do it yourself, essentially. I know none of you are the quilt police, so I'll tell you, my needle that I have in is actually a 9014 Microtex, because that is what I always sew bags with, and I usually change it to a 7010 just regular needle, and I didn't before sewing and completely forgot. So, but I don't know if you can, like, how close the camera will catch, but you can't really see the holes, because it's, I think if I were folding or pressing my seams completely open, it might be noticeable. But because I'm folding or pressing them to one side, you can't really see how big the holes are. Yeah, so that has me curious. Do you, and when I say you, not just you, Arnetta, but do all of you take your machines for maintenance, or do you do things yourself, or only when they're broken? Because the other thing that I think would be a really big pain in the butt for me to take this machine in is I would actually have to figure out how to get it out of the table. So I've never really wanted to have to look how to do that. Helen, I love that saying. Exactly. That's great. That makes me feel so much better. That's how I feel about like if my points don't line up, or on this one I didn't, but sometimes I cut out the little edge of the triangle. And what's funny is like I'm kind of particular when it comes to bags, at least on the outside. But with quilting, I've just kind of I don't know. I put it in my head when I started quilting that I didn't really want to obsess and be so like a perfectionist about it. So when it comes to piecing, I'm much more go with the flow. Oh yeah, something with a computer, I would not attempt. It's so funny because I'm so used to sewing on this machine that last year at Sewcations, I was helping people. They were sewing on like the Juki, and it wasn't the TL. It wasn't a straight stitch machine. It was like a fancy one with all sorts of different stitches, and it was very computerized. And I was like, "Ooh, this is fancy!" It like cut things for me and like aligned everything. Yeah, that's one thing nice about him. This machine came from my aunt, who is older. She's gonna be 90 this year. So I think this is from the early 80s. And it's so funny. Every time I tell her, she's like, "It's still working for you?" I was like, "Yeah, Antoine, I was like, this machine is never gonna die. It has like the best parts inside." Yeah, I feel really grateful. I kind of mentioned it earlier. I'm not sure who was on, but when I've gone to teach some classes, I've had some things where I thought materials were gonna work, and then it gave people trouble. Particularly with like the Juki TL straight stitch, I thought it would be able to go through thicker material, or I say thicker, but like vinyl and stuff, so much better than what they actually did. I really take it for granted that anything that I I can fit under my presser foot, this machine will sew through. This is an old Singer. It's a Singer 5528. And my aunt had bought it brand new, and she was a teacher, and she said she used to make herself like clothes when she was in the classroom. But she didn't do a lot of sewing, at least when I was growing up. She had already been retired. when she found out that I had taught myself to sew and she offered this to me, I actually didn't even know that she had a sewing machine. And to be honest, I don't know if she ever took it anywhere for maintenance either. So it is very likely that this machine has never once been brought to like a shop for maintenance. Thankfully, she had everything. She even had like the original booklet, all that type of stuff, and the booklet it's really comprehensive about being able to take it apart and where to oil. It puts all the arrows, like there's a whole diagram, and I felt pretty confident doing it myself. So, all right, 1, 2, 3. So 3 of these I need to have facing one way, and 3 of these I need to have going the opposite. So I'm just making sure that I am lining these up correctly. Especially these are the two fabrics that look the most alike. One's just a little bit more beige and has ravens on it. So like the print is the difference, but as far as like the background, they're more similar. Yeah. And going back to the machine, I like this one because I can obviously like sew quilting material on it, and I can also make bags. I think if I were to upgrade or get another machine, I would want a cylinder arm industrial, because then I feel like I could do the top stitching and all that type of detail. But I just do not have any room for new machines or anything like that right now. And plus, this is working for my needs. I always post about sewing on a domestic in the sewing groups, because it makes me so sad when I see people who think that they have to have an industrial to be able to sew nice bags. And I always try to tell like people new to bags or people on a domestic, it's really just about like knowing your machine and knowing the materials that work with it. And for example, like the right feet, like a Teflon foot made all the difference for me. And what's funny is that I have like a basic Brother machine as well, and the Teflon foot did not work on that at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this Teflon foot, like this isn't helpful. But then a Teflon foot on this machine made all the difference. So I always tell people to try like different feet, different materials. You know, that's how you figure. And try not to use too expensive when you're still learning. So I've wasted a lot of material trying to figure out what works best. All of these, even though they face a different direction, all the seams are getting pressed towards the top piece. All right, I'm almost done. I just have to put all these pieces together. These are going to be like the end pieces to the blocks. Hey Cynthia, how are you? Yeah, today I was saying earlier, I spent hours today putting all sorts of new stuff up on the website. I didn't schedule it ahead of time. I wasn't sure how many people, would actually catch me live. So I just went on and clicked it. That, and I was a little worried because how last week, the phone call knocked out my sound, and I had scheduled and advertised it that I was really worried that if I had any sound issues and then people clicked on the link, it would be the wrong link. So I'm glad you could hop on. How's everything for you? Yeah, I think it was like a couple minutes after 8, like maybe 8:01 or something by the time I actually clicked the live. All right, so you can see those pieces that I just ironed are going to the left and the right. Perfect, and they all match up. So really I just have one seam to line up, so I'm just going to clip there. And I'm not even going to clip the others. I'm just going to kind of hold it as I sew and make sure it stays aligned. My bottom is a little bit longer here, but as long as the seam, I always match up the seam, and then the rest I figure I can hide in the other seams, like when it gets connected. So see, this seam will match up even though it's a little bit longer down here. Sometimes that happens to me, and I know it's because I do the full 1/4 inch allowance, seam allowance. I'm really terrible about the scant 1/4 inch. I can never keep it consistent. So I just always quilt with the full 1/4 inch. Oh, that's so funny. I forgot, Charlene. Is it your state? Is it Arizona that doesn't change their time, or Nevada? Because I remember like going to the Hoover Dam and doing a tour, and they were like, oh, when you're, you travel back in time here. I always thought that was so funny too, like people that live so close to the different time zones. When I was in college, I would go up to like Panama City in the Panhandle, and they're in Central Time. So it was always nice going because it's like, ooh, I gained an hour. But on the way back, I was like, oh, I just lost that hour. Okay, yeah, so it's Arizona that doesn't. Oh, how do I fix the seam? So for this one, instead of trimming it, when I get the final instructions and it tells me like, oh, so say I have to sew this here, I'll just line up this piece and use this as my guide and have this overhanging on the back. So this might be like a full 1/4 inch, where this will be like more of like a 1/2 inch. And honestly, it just usually works out and blends in every time. Some people trim them. I've never trimmed my cotton cuts pieces. I just always like do what I said, like, or I just explained, and just kind of like match up the piece of where it should be, and then just let the rest overhang. Yeah, that's no problem. Oh, so Indiana and Hawaii don't as well. All right, I know I think Puerto Rico too. so funny. I only just learned, like, as an adult that some states didn't change. I just thought they all did. I'm definitely happy for it. It's so much lighter out, and I'm definitely one of those people that are affected by the sun. I feel like I have more energy. It's funny because yeah, exactly, Charlene. Once I put the next piece up, it will just like blend in so easy. Um, yeah, it's funny with the time change. Like Jason and I are being like, "Oh, we haven't ate supper yet." Like it's a lot later than we thought it was because we've just been so used to it being so dark here in New York for so long. And it's really funny because we've had such bizarre weather with it being so warm and then so cold. But on the warm days, the Mr. Softy ice cream trucks have already been out and about. Yeah, I loved going to college in Florida and just having like the sun and the warm weather. But honestly, I did start to miss the different seasons, especially growing up in New England, where there's just such four distinct seasons that it was, very different. I love all of them. I love spring for all the flowers that come out. We have a membership to the botanical gardens, and I love going when the cherry blossoms and the lilacs come out. And then summer I just like because it's warm and you can swim. And I love going to the ocean and whatnot. And then fall, I love the leaves changing. Like I think it's so pretty. And like even winter, like I don't love a ton of snow, but I like when it first snows and everything looks so pretty and it has that like fresh coat of, perfect. You never miss the seasons when you live there. Yeah. I didn't miss it when, my parents were getting like feet of snow. It's funny, I just remember my mom visiting me in March and she was like, "It's March whatever, and they're already mowing lawns down here." I just panicked for a second. I almost flipped this the wrong direction. Oh, the end of March, Arnetta? Or April? I'm assuming March, because April would be too late. Yeah, I'm sure you guys get so many visitors. There's a nice section in the botanical gardens here that has a variety of cherry blossom trees, and then a few years ago they redid their lilac section. It's so pretty. What's nice too is that we live in a neighborhood that's close to the botanical gardens. So if you live in New York, the New York Botanical Gardens, they're located in the Bronx. And I believe on Wednesdays, like anyone in New York City in the 5 boroughs can get a garden pass. But they have it, if you live in one of the neighborhoods that are close to it, you can get a garden pass any day of the week. So we were taking advantage of that, but we just got a full membership because they have some really cool programs inside. Every year they do the holiday train show, and this year was all like New York buildings, and they use plants and they recreate the buildings out of all natural plant materials, and then they have the trains run through them. And then they always do an orchid show. Like right now, the orchid show is running. And then each year there's like a different theme for that. I don't remember what the theme was for this year's orchid show. We haven't gone yet, but it's on our list. Yeah, it's really beautiful. If you ever come to New York City, the New York Botanical Gardens are worth a visit. And it's cool because the Bronx used to be like a lot of farmland, and so what the Botanical Garden now is what used to be different farmland. They have like an old mill, like located on the river through it, and it's just very scenic. The research buildings and the library are just old, and I don't know if it's granite, but you know, one of those big stone buildings, like they don't make them anymore. It's just really beautiful. Yeah, so this is a perfect example. You can see right here, it's a little bit longer, and right here on each of those sides. So when I attach, I'll just use the shorter piece and keep it straight and line it up there. All right, perfect. Yay, so this finishes up my month 8. I have a few more extra pieces here because I didn't film yet. So I'll do that 4th block one. Hopefully one night this week or this weekend I can actually get it filmed and get it uploaded. But I'm super excited. I love when the blocks use multiple fabrics in it, and I think it just looks really nice. Make sure I always try to fold these up so they're not too crazy, and put them back in the bag. Yeah, this piece I had sewed that extra piece, but that's all right. We'll make it quick when I go to put this one together, and then just so the end of this month, the 27th, is when the next clue will release. That's month 9. And then month 10 in April will give us the entire instructions of how to put all the blocks together. So we'll see the end results of the quilt. Aw, thanks, Charlene. Are you enjoying yours? You picked such a pretty colorway. I can't wait to see it all together. Oh yeah, so Jessa was putting together, I know she only had 10 that included like the room and the day passes, and I think there was like a discount on food or something like that as well. But she's gonna open up a bunch more. I think the end of this month she is gonna release the classes. That's why I was sewing that bag last week as the sample. So I think I'm going to do I'm definitely doing my puff quilt as a class. And I think I'm going to do the willow as a second option. Probably label it intermediate or confident beginner because it has the binding inside. And then just do it with either quilting cotton, the Majestic nylon, or water resistant canvas. So it's manageable for all the domestics machines. Aw, yeah, Charlene, I can't wait to see it all done. But, all right, everyone, well, I'm going to hop off here for the night. I hope you had a good week. I hope you have a good week ahead of you. As of right now, I plan on being on next Tuesday. I don't think there's anything in my schedule that will waylay that. So I'll definitely put a post in the group though if something changes. So thank you again for everybody chatting with me. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next week.